So you're thinking about moving to Poncha Springs, Colorado? Well, in this video, I'm going to be going over the pros and cons of living in Poncha Springs, Colorado. And if you stick around till the end, you'll have a better insight into understanding what it's like to live here and also compare it to living in Salida, Colorado, which a lot of people do, probably why you're looking at this video in the first place. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. This channel is all about living in Salida, Colorado and surrounding areas. So if you're interested in that information, please subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you're the first to know when new informative videos about living in Salida and also the market here and when those come available. I'm Monica McCarthy, a realtor that specializes in Salida, Colorado and surrounding areas. And I get calls all the time from people like you who are looking to move here. So if you are considering moving here in a few weeks, in a few months, please reach out to me. My information is below. I look forward to connecting with you. And thank you so much for watching. All right, let's talk about the pros and cons of living in Poncha Springs, Colorado. All right, first I'm going to talk about where Poncha Springs, Colorado is located. Poncha Springs is west of Salida. And it's called the crossroads of the Rockies. And that means it's kind of located at the intersection of Highway 285 that runs north and south Colorado and Highway 50 that runs east and west. So a lot of people who are traveling to various places around Colorado will drive through Poncha Springs. So it's the crossroads of the Rockies. You have a lot of access to various spots within Colorado from that little intersection. It's also, one pro for it is it's only about 10 minutes away from Salida. So a lot of people who want to come to this small mountain community, perhaps start looking at Salida. I have a video about the pros and cons of living in Salida. And so if you want to know more about what it's like to live there, watch that one. But for Poncha Springs, a lot of people come, they don't necessarily say, I want to live in Poncha Springs. They say, I want to live in Salida or around Salida. What's Poncha Springs? So that might be you. And like I said, it's only 10 or 15 minutes away from Salida. So short drive, really there's no traffic around here. I covered that in the Salida video. So that's definitely a pro, but you can easily access the amenities of Salida from Poncha Springs. The people who live there, their kids will go to school in the Salida School District, and you have that proximity to Salida. And that is one of the pros. Another piece about the location of it is because you're west of Salida, you're closer to Monarch Mountain, that ski mountain. So that's a huge bonus for people who want to go up that way. And also just headed up from Poncha Springs, up Highway 50 to Monarch, there's a lot of amazing trails along the way. So if you are into hiking or mountain biking, you have access to those amazing trails in that direction. And also the Colorado Trail that runs all through Colorado is accessible off of Highway 50 as well. So you'll get a lot of through hikers in the summer. And if you're somebody who wants access to trails like that, I'm one of those people. I love being able to just easily drive just a few minutes away to an amazing trail that hardly anybody's at. So when you're living in Poncha Springs, you have more access to the trails in that direction. You also have access to Colorado's 14ers. So if you don't know what that means, 14er is a mountain that's over 14,000 feet, an elevation of over 14,000 feet. It's a huge thing in Colorado. Our area, the Poncha Springs, Salida area, Buena Vista area, has a lot of 14ers. And if you're in Poncha Springs, you're actually very, very close to the trailhead of Mount Chavano and Tabawatch, which is just a short drive from Poncha Springs. So you have closer access to those 14ers. You don't even have to hike at the base. You can just wake up from the comfort of your home and then just pop out the door early morning and get to that trailhead. So that's a huge bonus to living in the Poncha Springs area. So outdoor enthusiasts who want that easy access to the trails and Monarch Mountain and all of the fun outdoor activities, and then also being able to pop down south to 285 and then you have access to the Arkansas Valley, you have a lot of access that way. So it's just an amazing spot to have access to the outdoors. Another huge bonus to living in Poncha Springs is it's more affordable than Salida. So you get more house and often more space for your money in Poncha Springs. Many people who come to me who are looking in Salida can often find themselves priced out of living in Salida, particularly for the size of the home they want. In downtown Salida, the homes tend to be closer together. In Poncha Springs, they're a bit more spaced out, and you get more bang for your buck. So particularly if you're somebody who is at a lower price point for searching, or you just want to have more space, you want to be able to have a house that has more square footage and you're not paying a higher price per square foot, Poncha Springs is a really great option for people. I often, when I have people call me looking in Salida, I say, have you thought about Poncha Springs? If they're at a price point that's, in the 500s or so, you want to look at Poncha Springs. There are homes in that price point there, whereas Salida, you're talking more 6s and 7s. So it's just, you get more options. There's also more townhomes there. So this actually dovetails into my next pro, which is there are more newer homes in Poncha Springs. We've seen a ton of development in Poncha Springs over the last few years. There's a lot of new communities sprouting up, and so Salida has a lot of older homes in the downtown area particularly, and it's a huge hodgepodge. But while Poncha Springs does have an older, kind of an old town area, it's pretty small, but there is kind of an older town area, the home's kind of in the 60s or 70s. There's also another spot, that Little River Ranch, that's been around for about a decade or so. In that area, they have nice custom mountain homes. And then there's also these newer communities that have come up just in the last few years. There's Poncha Meadows, Tailwinds, and a few others where you can get townhomes and also full single family homes where you can move your family into them. You can get more bang for your buck, a larger house for a lower price point, and they're newer. So a lot of people like that. You want to move into a house that you don't have to worry about a bunch of problems. There are some old bungalows in downtown Salida that they're quaint and charming, but they were built in the early 1900s, and sometimes some of those things haven't been updated. You don't really have that issue with homes in Poncha Springs. So that's just an advantage to having newer homes, and there's just more of them in the Poncha Springs area. All right, this could be kind of a pro or a con. So just an informative piece, the amenities in Poncha Springs. There are less of them than in Salida. So I talked about in my Salida video, amenities compared to the city are fewer in this mountain area as a whole. So just understand that if you're comparing Poncha Springs to Denver, it's way less. If you're comparing Poncha Springs to Salida, it's slightly less, slightly fewer amenities. So you do have a grocery store. There are several restaurants. My favorite is Red Truck Pizza. I live closer to Poncha Springs than Salida, actually. So although I'm technically in Salida, but I'm a little bit outside of town where I live, and I like to go to Red Truck Pizza a lot. So there's also a really amazing sandwich shop there. And so there are a few good spots that you can go to. It's called Poncha Pub, the sandwich shop. And that's right off of 50. So if you're driving through, it's a really good spot to grab a quick bite to eat if you're just driving through, by the way. There's also just a lot more commercial buildings being built, and also more commercial properties coming in, or commercial businesses, I should say, coming in. So like I said, Poncha Springs is growing. So if you're watching this video now, in a few years, it's going to be more. So I definitely see that area increasing in terms of amenities as well. Right now, we have that grocery store that I mentioned. There's also Elevation Brewery, which has been around for a while, and it's kind of a staple of Poncha Springs. It's right off of the Monarch Spur Trail, which leads me to my next point, which is there's a Monarch Spur Trail that goes from Poncha Springs into Salida. It's a paved, mostly almost completely paved all the way through bike and walk path, but a lot of people use it to bike into Salida. I know when I first moved here, people joked about, you bike from Salida up to Elevation Brewery. It's all uphill, but then it's downhill on the way down. But you do have that easy option. If you live in Poncha, you can get onto that bike trail and easily get into town safely. So you're not on Highway 50 to get into town. There's a bike path into Salida from Poncha Springs. So keep that in mind if you're a big biker and you don't want to have to drive everywhere. Again, if you're driving, it's about 10 minutes or so. So it's all relative. When you live in downtown Salida, that feels far. If you're coming from the city, it's a breeze. And again, no traffic. So amenities, obviously there are fewer. There's a gym as well. And it's an easy drive into Salida where there are more of those amenities. Another thing that Poncha Springs has are several parks. So Old Town Poncha Springs has a Chipeta Park, which is kind of like the main park within town. It's right by the old Poncha Springs schoolhouse, which is now a newly opened preschool. And that park, there's a lot of community events there. They often have a parade in that area for 4th of July. There's also an Easter egg hunt there, and they just have a lot of community events. There's a church that often has picnics in the summer. So that's it's a nice community point, or gathering point, I should say, in Chipeta Park. And then there's also a few parks that have come up in recent years. So if you are somebody that has small children or you like access to just some open space, there are a few other parks in Poncha Springs, and there's talks of more to come as they're developing more areas. And another thing that I will mention in terms of a con would be Poncha Springs is a bit windier than Salida. So all of this Arkansas Valley, we are in a mountain valley surrounded by 3 mountain ranges. So the wind can come through, particularly in the springtime. So if you hate the wind, go on vacation around April. A lot of people do it, but there can be some windy days around here. Like I mentioned, I live closer to Poncha Springs than in Salida, but I work in downtown Salida. I'm at my office right now. So downtown Salida can feel less windy than Poncha Springs. So I'll drive from Salida into Poncha Springs, compare the two, and sometimes it does feel a little bit windier. So because it's a bit more open, depending on where your house is located and what you're up to that day, you can obviously find some areas with some windbreak. But generally speaking, Poncha Springs is known to be a bit windier than Salida. Keep that in mind if you're looking for homes here. But again, Poncha Springs, if you are looking to buy a home in the Salida area and you look at the prices of downtown Salida and scoff at them and you think, how can I ever live in this amazing small mountain town? How can I afford it? Well, there are some options. And so Poncha Springs is an excellent choice for people who want to, again, have perhaps a newer home, less price per square foot, and often more space in between your neighbors. So if you have questions about living in Poncha Springs, reach out to me. I'm happy to guide you through what those new communities are. They're changing. There's more being approved. There's just a lot of development in this area. So depending on when you're watching this video, reach out to me, find out what the latest is. And some of them builders are building them, and some of them there's lots available where you can build your own custom home. So you have a little bit of both, and it's an excellent choice to just be in this area and have access to Salida. And then it's even closer to hop over onto 285 to head over to BV, to Buena Vista, and have access to the amenities in that small mountain town as well. So Poncha Springs is a really good choice for a lot of people. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I'm Monica McCarthy, a realtor that specializes in Salida and surrounding areas. And if you have any questions about living here, please reach out to me. I'm happy to be a resource for you, even if you aren't ready to move here right away. I'm very familiar with the area and love to provide insight for you. Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you're notified the next time an informative video comes up. Thanks.